Are you thinking about joining the Army, but you're not sure which MOS to pick, which job to pick in the Army? You know there's like 200 of them. Well, today I'm going to share with you my top 5 MOSs in the Army and why you should consider them. So make sure to tune in. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Tattooed Chap today. I'm Drew, the Tattooed Chap, and we are going to be talking about my top 5 MOSs in the Army. So if you're looking at joining the Army, you're trying to figure out what MOS to join, these are the 5 that I recommend, and we'll introduce those here in a second. But first, before we do that, make sure to follow me on Instagram, and you can also follow me on LinkedIn, where you can follow me as a professional as well. Also, as I talk about these MOSs today, if maybe I should have put a different MOS on there that you think should have made my top 5, make sure to comment below and correct me, and maybe give a reason why, in case someone else is looking for which MOS they should join when they join the Army. Because you know what? You might have an experience that's different than mine, and you might have some insight or something that I maybe forgot. And after I'm done sharing with you my top 5 MOSs, I'm going to share with you guys another bonus option that maybe you weren't considering, so make sure to stick around for that as well. So real quick, before we get started with those 5 MOSs, there's something I think is important to share. I am currently a chaplain in the Army, and I'm not going to talk about chaplaincy in this other than the fact to let you know that I'm a chaplain. I'm going to look also at enlisted MOSs. There's also routes that you could take as an officer, and some of them are actually really great, and maybe we'll tackle that at a different time. And you might be thinking, why should I be listening to a chaplain about MOSs in the Army? They don't really know anything about the enlisted side. Well, actually, I want to let you know a little bit about me. Well, I've served in the Army for 13 years. Only 4 of those have been as a chaplain. The other 9 were as enlisted. And I served both in the active duty and the reserve, and I had a different MOS in each of those. So I've also been in several different styles units. I've been in a signal unit, I've been in a chemical unit, I've been in information operations, infantry, and I've also been in aviation, which has helped me see a wide variety of MOSs operating in different environments. So what were my 2 enlisted MOSs? A 91 Charlie, which is an HVAC repairman. I think the official title is Utilities Equipment Repairman, but basically I learned how to maintain and fix HVAC, heating and air conditioning. It was a cool job, worked in the motor pool a lot. I also worked on Humvees and all that stuff when I wasn't working on my HVAC stuff. My other job, my other enlisted MOS was 13 Fox, which is called a forward observer, or sometimes referred to as a FISTer, short for Fire Support Team. So those were my 2 enlisted MOSs. Now I think you're ready to hear from me on what my top 5 MOSs are. But really, the best MOS that's not on this list is being a chaplain. If you love the Army, if you love soldiers, if you love God, there's nothing that's better than being a chaplain. I have other videos about what it takes to be a chaplain and how to become a chaplain, so you can check those out. I'll put a link up here for one of them. But let's actually get to my top 5 right now. So number 1, and I've already mentioned it, being a 13 Fox. I loved being a FISTer. It was one of the greatest jobs. What is a FISTer? A FISTer is someone that goes forward, a forward observer. They're going forward. They're the eyes of the battlefield, and they're looking all over, and they're reporting intelligence in on the radio to the rear. But more important than that, they are the ones that call in artillery rounds or maybe air support, and in some rare cases, naval gunfire. And so these people are the ones that are on the radios. So they're the ones that see the enemy, they see targets, and they call it in on the radio. They call in the grid coordinates, and they're the ones that make it rain. It was a fun job getting to go up on top of the hilltops and sitting there with your buddies, just 2 or 3 of you up there, and you're looking at the maps, you're looking at the field, no matter the weather, and you're calling in these huge rounds and getting to watch them explode. It was amazing, it was fun. But being a FISTer is hard work. There's a lot of walking on foot to get to the hilltop that you're going to, carrying your lasing equipment on your back and your rucksack, your radios, being out there in all the weather. So if you're an outdoors person and you like hiking and backpacking, this might be the one for you. But if you're someone that likes to sit in the office, then I don't recommend being a FISTer. This was an awesome job. And so I recommend being a fister, a 13 Fox, a forward observer, being the eyes of the battlefield, and it is awesome. Check it out. Number 2 on the list would be an 11 Bravo, infantry. Now, a lot of people may push back on that, but I think infantry is pretty awesome. When you think of Army, you are thinking of infantry. You're thinking of the guys and the gals that have the guns, that are closing distance with the enemy and engaging them and blowing them up, shooting them, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what armies do. Armies fight and win their nation's wars. And so I think infantry needs to be on this list, and I put it as number 2 because it's pretty cool. Also, one of the things I think is pretty neat about infantry is if you're a high-speed soldier, you're doing the right thing, you do your job well, you maintain your physical fitness, there's a lot of opportunities for some of the cool schools that people always talk about, like air assault, airborne, Ranger, and there's other ones that you can go to like sniper school, things of that nature, jungle school. Those schools, those specialty schools are ones that are typically reserved more for the infantry than for other ones. When I was a mechanic, I didn't get to go to airborne school, air assault school, Ranger school, all that stuff. I would have had to jump through some pretty big hoops to get that. I see my infantry guys that I work with getting to go to those schools all the time. So if you want to be out there shooting guns all the time, out there training, also being out in the elements, infantry might be another option to look at. So number 3 on my list, it's actually gonna be 2 MOSs, either a 35 Papa or a 35 Mike. Now, why did I pick these and what are they? They are military intelligence MOSs, and the first one is a cryptolinguist, a 35 Papa, and a 35 Mike is a human intelligence collector. Now, both of these jobs are different, but one thing that they have in common is that they both learn a second language. And I think that's the real reason why I picked these. My wife was a 35 Papa, and she went and learned Farsi and Dari, and we got to spend 2 years at a place called Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, which is like a military base and a college campus all in one, and everyone that's there is there to learn a second language. It is an incredible location to live at, beautiful. The students do have to work hard, but it is a beautiful place to go to. One of the cool things about having a language is that you get paid extra. So my wife, because she had 2 different languages, got $400 extra for each language. So every month, on top of her regular pay, she also got an additional $800 a month because she maintained those 2 languages. 35 Papa and a 35 Mike. And you can probably find out a little bit more about what each of them does. One of them interacts more with people, the other one's doing it more on computers and radios and all that stuff, but definitely worth checking out, especially if you want to make some extra money and languages are something that you find interesting. So number 4 on my list is 15 Tango. It is the Black Hawk mechanic. What's cool about this job is you learn how to work on Black Hawks and everything, but as a Black Hawk mechanic, you also have the opportunity to become a crew chief on a Black Hawk, a person that's helping maintain the Black Hawk, working with the pilots. You're flying in it all the time. You get to go shoot guns from the Black Hawk. One thing that many Black Hawk mechanics do is they actually drop warrant officer packets to later become pilots for the Army, and they end up flying the Black Hawks as well. So if you want to fly all the time, Black Hawks are the way to go because they're crew chiefs. And you also have the opportunity later, if this interests you, to drop a warrant officer packet to become an actual pilot of one of our helicopters. I personally like the 15 Tango MOS. My last MOS that I'm going to share with you is really, it's just going to be the whole branch, and anything in the 25 series is pretty cool. 25 series is signal and works with communications and things of that nature, and they have everything from the people that do computer technicians to combat camera, where they're like going around taking photos, to videos like stuff like this, to people working on telecommunications and radios. It's just kind of a cool field to work in, especially if you like tech. As I mentioned, I served in a signal battalion, and many of the people I know that had signal MOSs later went on, and when they got out, and got really good paying jobs out in the civilian sectors. So if you want something in the tech field and something that translates into the civilian market, definitely take a look at the 25 series. I have two stories I want to share real quick about that. One is my father-in-law is a retired Master Sergeant, that's 25 series, and he got a second career working in the Army as a contractor and is making a lot of money doing signal stuff on that side. And I also have a friend who joined the Army with me at the same time, and he was a computer guy from the Army. I think it was a 25 Bravo, and now he's also leading the esports competition team stuff that the Army's doing. I don't know the technical terms because I don't really do video games, but he's the one that's kind of spearheading that and leading that. I mean, he gets to play video games and help other people play video games for a living. That's pretty cool. So those were my top 5 MOSs, and I'm sure there's a lot of other good ones down there, but I told you I'd give you one bonus, and this is my bonus. If you are someone that is looking at joining the Army, I highly recommend not just looking at the enlisted side. There's a lot of great jobs there, but also consider going the officer route. You might be thinking, I don't have the college for it yet, and that's okay. Go to a community college and then join an ROTC program and it will pay for your college. But the reason why I say that you should consider going the officer route is because officers make so much more money over the length of their career. If you're looking at making this a career, a job that you do for 20 plus years, the officer route really is the way to go. And this isn't to say the enlisted route isn't good or they're not good soldiers. If you just compare the two, the money that an enlisted person makes versus the money that an officer makes over the length of their career, it's astounding. So make sure to check that out. Consider going the officer route as well. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 MOSs that I think you should look at if you're thinking about joining the Army, and that option of going the officer route. And you may disagree and you may agree, that's okay. But if you liked this content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that way you're notified when any other kind of content comes out. If you found value in today's stuff, please hit the like button and share it with other people. And lastly, if you disagreed with my top 5, let me know down below. Maybe share with me the top 5 that you think I should have picked, and we can learn from one another because we are a learning community. So I will see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Tattooed Chap.